Hi. Okay, that was a little bit. Um, Hi, everybody. Okay, so it's a little bit different on here. Um, cool. So I pre-scheduled this, had a little bit of a hiccup, but we're not too late, so that's good. Hi, everybody, and let me know as you're joining. Who you are, where you're joining from. The screen is different too, which is kind of weird because I can't see like the chat or the comments. Anyway, sorry. So it's like I wanted to schedule it so you guys could get notified and plan ahead, but then like now this screen is not as helpful. So anyway, we're gonna move on. So today, this is Unicorn TV, episode 12. If you have not tuned in before, it's a little TV show I made for my Facebook channel, and it's all about empowering you to be your unicorn self and to shine in the world and create what you want. My vision is that, there's an army of women in the world that are doing work that they love, and it's impacting the world. And to me, the impact comes not only from the actual work that they're doing, but it actually comes from them living their best life and the effect that that ends up having just by nature of them being happier on, their family, their friends, their communities, etc. So that's what I'm all about, is helping in whatever way I can to build up that army of women that is doing what they want to do in this world. So, I have my own business as a messaging strategist. My name is Holly Tack. I don't even know if I said that, but I'm a messaging strategist, and I help women really get clear on their message, get their copy in place, and relate that to their business strategy, and also come up with strategy on how to get their first client, their next client, all sorts of stuff. But I work with people to teach them their writing mainly, and I love it. I love it, and I've been out of corporate for about 2 months, so it took a little while to get there, but I finally quit, and I also love unicorns. So, yes, so I wanted to just do a quick card pull. I know we're a little bit 5 minutes in, but I wanted to, the topic today is how I got my first client, and I just want to take the veil off, and just really be honest about how I did it, and just so that you know how I did it. And it doesn't have to be so difficult. It doesn't have to be so fancy, is my point in sharing it. So I'm going to ask the card deck, what do we need to know about getting our next client? And I am going to pull a card based on that. So I'm just going to shuffle. This is the Doreen Virtue Magical Unicorns deck, if you're a deck person. So, oops. Well, these two cards really flew out, so I'm just going to do both of those and see what happens. Sometimes that's how it works. Okay, so this is really cool, and the pictures I just love on this stupid deck. So it's not stupid, but I just love the photos. So the first one is Curiosity, and it has this really cute photo of a cat looking at a unicorn. And it says, start a project related to something you're curious about. And then the other one is try something new, which is a really cute picture of a unicorn swimming with an orca, which I think is so fun. And this one says, you'll only know that you can do something if you try it. So how I would interpret this related to our broadcast today is that I would say for curiosity, follow what you're curious about in terms of your next step. And really, I'm trying to think of how to say this. I think being curious about how your audience, what they need, and what's really their problem and how you can really step into solving it is so critical to getting people to sign up to work with you, because they need to know that you can solve the problem that they have. So getting curious, I think that's what that is about for me. And then trying something new, you'll only know if you try. I think to me that's about, my intention is that you'll come away with this with an idea of how you can get your next client or something new that you can try. And I want you to actually do it and implement and try it. So that's what I'm going to interpret this as, trying something new. Hopefully my intention will come true for you and you will have a new idea. And I'm just going to pull up the broadcast separately because I can't see any comments if there's comments, and that bugs me. So, yeah. So let me just do that really quick, and then I'm going to get started. So, okay, awesome. All right, Samantha, I hope you're on. Let me know. Okay, cool. I don't know. I was going to grab my phone, I guess, to see if there's comments, but I don't need to. So, looks like cool. Samantha's on. Beautiful card. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so I feel settled on the comments because I don't want to miss anything that you guys have to say. All right, so I wanted to share how I got my first client, and it's seriously not a long story. So I'll just get right into it. But I shared a couple weeks ago when I was talking about my first big business investment and how I was able to find the money for that, that I was in a group program for 6 months. It was from like October of 2015 to April of 2016, and it was 6 months, and it was all about how to start a business. It had a lot of information. It was great information. I got really great coaching. Nothing wrong with all that. But I didn't get a client by the end of it. And now I see that I had a lot of internal blocks and confidence issues and things like that going on, which I have since resolved. But anyway, I was feeling pretty down that I didn't get a client after spending $7,000 on an investment and making a lot of progress in terms of certain areas, but I still just never got that client. And that really crushed me for a while. For a few months following the program. And then I wrote a sales page for myself. I thought I needed to change what I was selling, and it was not changing it to copywriting at the time. I was actually thinking about being like this is funny because I haven't really mentioned it to anybody because I never went anywhere with it. So you guys are hearing it here first and probably the last time. But I was thinking I wanted to do like systems and operations stuff because that's what I did in corporate, and that's what I was like good at, because I still have quite an affinity for technology and like that kind of stuff. Like that's easy for me in business. The tech stuff is a piece of cake. So anyway, I was thinking I was going to do something around that actually, and so I wrote a whole sales page about it, and I just was sharing it in like some thread in my friend's Facebook group. It wasn't even a big Facebook group, but it was something like about what are you working on or what are you excited about? And I posted that page like, here it is. Like I told you guys, I just went to a live event, I think. And like, I told you guys I'm doing this new focus, and here's my page, here's my sales page. And at the time, one lady contacted me, who's my friend actually from the group program, and she was like, I really thought that you did I loved how you wrote that. It was sassy, and I really liked that, and I love the voice, and would you write a sales page for us, like her and her husband? And I was like, I guess. So anyway, I had no idea about anything. Like I had no idea about, I knew how to write, obviously, and I had learned about copy in the program I was in. It wasn't specific to copy, but, so I had that, but I was like, I didn't know anything about how to like price a project or, all that stuff. And so I really just kind of winged it, and I, priced it, and she paid me, and I wrote a sales page, a couple sales pages for them, and that was my first client. So the reason I'm sharing this, hopefully that wasn't too anticlimactic. And I ended up getting another client who I worked just one time with, but she's a really big name in the industry, which was kind of nuts to me. Was my second client because she also saw that post about my sales page and liked my liked my voice. But anyway, so that was really how I got my first client, and I hope that wasn't too anticlimactic, but the reason I wanted to share that with you and the reason why it was so important to me to share that with you is because I feel like, and thank you so much for the hearts, by the way. So heart me up. I'm pretty sure it's you, Samantha, so you're awesome. Thank you. If someone else joins, please go ahead and heart it up. But, you know, I wanted to share that because I feel like even when I was in that group program, you know, the method that was really recommended to us in that group program, life can be, I'm sorry, just seeing your comments, life can be anticlimactic, and you are giving me the hearts. Thank you so much, Samantha. That means a lot. I keep losing my train of thought. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't have my coffee, but I'm not drinking coffee anymore, but I have this, like, stuff it's like ground cocoa beans called Creo Brew. I love it. I'm obsessed, and I was like out of it this morning, but they just brought it my order from Amazon, so I'm like, yay. It doesn't have like caffeine, but it has something similar. I don't know. It's healthier though. So the reason I wanted to share that with you is because I even was conditioned in that group program I was in, which again, I still enjoyed the group program. But it was conditioned in me that I had to have, like, opt-in funnel, and I had to have Facebook ads, and, like, I had to have that stuff. And I did end up spending, you know, $500 or something on Facebook ads, and I, you know, did get some people on my list and everything, but I didn't get clients from that. And I was so ingrained in me that, like, you had to have ads from that experience to get anywhere. And I could see how, like, the women that took that on and did it were getting fast success. And I just didn't, I don't know, I just was afraid to spend the money, whatever. But anyway, I didn't really do ads, but I was conditioned you had to have ads, and like, I think even in like the current sphere, if you follow a lot of people, which I've actually been paring down who I follow just because I want to stay more focused on my one coach that I have now and their strategy. That's something I wish I would have done in the other group program too. So just like a side tip, cut out all the crap and just, if you're paying for someone's support and you trust that they have a good plan for you, just cut out the other stuff for whatever, 6 months, whatever you're working on, however long you're working with them, cut out the other BS and just focus on their plan. And it's honestly liberating. It's more liberating more than anything. But I was so conditioned from just like that and like listening to the different people in the community that I was following that I like had to have Facebook ads and I had to have like this amazing funnel that would like make me $100,000 in my sleep, and like I had to have all this stuff, and like, you know, it just made me feel like all like other things weren't as valid. And it's like people have been, which is stupid because it's like people have been buying things from each other and services for millions of years, you know, like thousands of years, millions of years, whatever you want to say. And it's like, you know, we do it by connecting. And, you know, why is me getting a client through basically having a friend pay me any less valid? And, you know, what came out of that client is that, you know, she would, you know, refer me to other people. Other people in that group program, I ended up working with them on little projects, and they would refer me to their clients because they're all like business coaches for the most part, you know, and I just started getting referrals and momentum. And then, you know, before I knew it, I was making a few thousand a month, and this was all while I was still in corporate. I was making a few thousand a month, and it was all pretty much from like that stuff, like referrals, friendships, networking, etc. And so I just want to like raise the veil on that because I do talk to women every week that really want to get their business off the ground, and they want to get paid, and they want to, maybe they're wanting to leave a job themselves or whatever, but they, for whatever reason, they really want to, you know, get money coming in for some reason. And, you know, it's important to build a list and everything like that, and I'm definitely focused on that now. But if you just need to get money in the door quick, there's so many other methods available to you right now, like that are in person or that are local in your community that I totally recommend that you think about. And it's so simple. It's simple. And, all that stuff, ads, funnels, that really all does have a place. And I'm definitely not saying I'm, poo-pooing on any of that. Like, I'm going to be using that stuff at some point. Like, that stuff is the key to really building a big business, and like really making money and making, good money. But for just getting started and you're just like, okay, like for me, since I was in my corporate job, I'm like, I just want to be making enough money to like pay for my business expenses, and not be like bleeding money basically with the business. And so like for me, that was only a few thousand a month. And so I was working on getting that. And like, that's a perfectly acceptable amount that you can easily get with the right product, the right structured product, and then, using the network that you already have essentially. So I really, really just wanted to be honest about how I got my first client and just tell you it was a friend and just, encourage you to build connections and to think outside the box if you just really need to get money quickly. There are ways that you can do it in your business by leveraging the network you have. And you don't have to you don't have to spend, $1,000 on ads this month or whatever. Even if you're spending money on ads, but you can only afford, a couple dollars a day, like that's great. You can keep doing that. And I'm not saying stop, but just be honest with that. That's probably only maybe one person a day adding to your list. And they have to go through your funnel and then they have to warm up to you on, they have to warm up to you over time via email. So it's not going to be a quick, necessarily, depending on what you're selling. It may not be the quickest way to make a sale and start serving other people and start getting money coming in the door. So I just wanted to share that. I hope that resonates. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. I'm looking at Samantha, Yummy Coffee. Yeah, it's so good. It's like, it's hard to describe, but it's the most closest thing to a coffee substitute that I have found. So Creo Brew, I'll bring the bag over next time. But Facebook Lives are like, so Facebook Lives, yeah, they have like a little bit of the thing that's nice about them is that you can get notified. So more people are likely to see this live video right now than just like a normal post on my page. And I can get more people to see it just by boosting it for like $10. So it's a way to get more awareness, but again, I would not like trust on like, oh, if people see this, that they're gonna, like it's not gonna be the quickest method that I'm gonna immediately get a client just because I did one live or something. But I think it's important as part of your overall package. And referrals are the best. Okay, I'm great that what do you offer as a service, Samantha? I'm just curious, how it varies from mine so that we can show people that it works for others. So let me know, type in the comments. So let me just go over some ways that you can make this work for you. So you can, there's so many ways. First of all, I would highly recommend that you send an informational email to friends and family to just let them know what you're doing. And I think this is important because A, they could know referrals, and B, but not just that, but it's just B, it's like owning what you're doing as a service, and it's really sharing it and taking that, really showing the universe, like, I'm serious about this, and I want to make sure that the people around me know what I'm doing. And again, that may not be like an immediate thing where you are going to get somebody on the phone from, but it's helpful for there to be awareness because you may get referrals later on from having done that. And then another thing you can do is, depending on your topic, I would say you can do like a free or low cost event at various venues that are probably free in your community. Like there's libraries, there is different community centers that are lower cost, especially in LA, but you do want to think about, will my ideal client be drawn to this venue, right? So if you're a health coach doing a free presentation at a library versus at Whole Foods, like, not to bash on libraries, but I know at least in my area, if I did that at my public library, like, I'm sure people would come, but they would not be somebody that is probably as keen to buy, like, services. But if I did it at Whole Foods, different crowd, right? So just like keep that in mind, right? Excuse me. Sorry. Other places you could do would be like schools. I don't know if your target market includes parents, parent PTA, PTA meetings, free presentation. Again, this is all depending on what you're offering as a service, right? So, but those are all like venues. So your kids' school, PTA meetings, library, colleges, community colleges, groceries, certain groceries, health grocers, and I was just thinking of something and then I blanked on it. Oh, churches sometimes. So like a church group. Sometimes there's like free venue or low cost venue, like the Masonic lodges are like free to rent. So there's so basically you would have an event of some kind, a workshop, and again, charge or not, but you want to make sure you're leveraging it the best way possible. And I would personally recommend for you, if you do it that way, to start getting leads, is to have a list where people sign in their name and their email and phone number. This is the thing I don't hear a lot of, people don't talk about in this online service business community, like getting phone numbers and just calling people up. But I've honestly been doing that because my business coach told me to grab phone numbers, and I've had a lot of learning points come out of it, and I've had some really solid leads. So getting phone numbers, I just think that's another thing I wanted to raise the veil on in this is there's so much online business. It's easy. It's you don't have to touch it and you just get clients and you can just have this funnel going and you'll have full client roster. And yes, that's all possible. But there's nothing wrong with doing these other things that have worked for different businesses for eternity. Cold calling, going door to door. I'm not saying go door to door. Don't do that. But that kind of stuff, cold calling. Then before that, it was door to door. Before everyone had phones, whatever. That stuff does work. And it's not even cold calling if you had an event, you got people's emails and numbers, and then you decided I care about this person getting something out of this, and I'm just going to call them up, and I'm just going to see if, ask them what they're struggling with, and go into maybe a sales conversation framework. But, and if, what's the worst that can happen? They just say, leave me alone and don't talk to me. Big deal. You're on the other side of a phone. You just hang up. So, that would be, so you want to make sure if you're doing this kind of thing in person that you leverage it. But, by having a way to collect their email and their phone. But that's one way. And then there's also, I've talked about, you can reach out to friends and family. You can do something in person at some kind of venue. It doesn't have to be fancy. Or the third thing you can do is to actually reach out to people in your community if you already have a list. If you've done anything like that, if you have a Facebook page or a group or something, just notice who is involved and who's commenting and just reach out to them and ask them what their pain points are and if there's a way you can help. And it's not necessarily about, you want to get in the place of feeling of serving them without expectation. So when you ask them what their problem is, you want to give them a solution, and it's not the solution is to work with me. Because then that's oh, this person's just selling. It's you know what? So for Samantha, help people live clean and get healthy. Okay. So Samantha helps people live clean and get healthy, and she's been getting referrals. So she's in a different line of business than me, and she's been helping people getting referrals. So it works for other people too. And so if she wanted to do this, say she had a Facebook group and somebody commented on, I don't know, how someone will just show up and they'll comment on some stuff because whatever, it showed up in their feed or something that day, where she wrote a post about, going gluten-free or something. And so she reaches out to that person that commented individually and she just says hey, I really appreciate you being in the group and being active on that post. And it sounds like you are interested in going gluten-free, but you haven't been able to do it yet. What do you feel is really the problem for you that's, preventing you from getting there? And then they're well, I'm just going to make this up, but they're like, I really want to do it, but the one thing I just love, 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 love is like pizza, and I can't give up pizza. I just can't give up pizza. Oh my God. And it's like, everything else I can give up, but not pizza. And so then she can be like, well, so then like the solution I would give to that person, being from a place of service, is have you thought about, gluten-free pizza options? And like, depending on where they're, going into this conversation with them, like, do they cook at home or not? If not, then like, I could recommend or look up like pizza places in their area for them that have gluten-free and like show them like, hey, try this out. Or if they're like somebody that's willing to cook at home, I can be like, here's a recipe. And here's a shopping list I even made to go along with the recipe so you know what to buy or whatever. So I'm not talking about like, oh, you want to go gluten-free, like I'll help you. You have to work with me. I'm like, no, if pizza's your problem to going gluten-free, let me just give you some ideas. Like, and so then they're like, oh, that's great, and then see if you can work them into like, that might be it for the interaction, or you might go into something that's more significant, like, would I would probably invite them onto the phone at that point, because this is like Facebook Messenger, and be like, hey, do you want to talk about on the phone more deeply, like how you can get a plan in place to really go gluten-free? And then, on the call, it's up to you to like follow whatever framework you follow for those calls to see if they'll sign up for ongoing support, right? And they might not, whatever. But like, you gave to them, you were in a giving mindset, and it was It's kind of an organic reach out, but it works. That stuff works, and my whole point, I'm just gonna say it one more time, is to just share what's been working for me in terms of I've built over $20,000 in sales. Actually, it's more like 25,000 in sales by doing things like this that were more organic or networking based. And again, that's not my plan forever to do this, right? And I'm working on other things like building my list now. But it got me started, and it got me really confident that I could sell and that I could even have a business and all this stuff. And so I wouldn't trade it for the world. And so depending on where you're at, you don't need to do all the fancy stuff, and you can look into some of these other methods to get your first client or your next client. So you may, if you're smart and you're following, you may guess what I might do here. But I would love to invite you to a call to talk about how you can do this. I shared some methods, but I remember, hi, Katie, yay, good to see your face. So I shared some methods. I'm almost done, Katie, but I shared methods on how you can get clients in a more like connection-based, everything's connection-based, but I mean a more like organic way versus, just having to pay for ads and funnels and all this other stuff. But like I said, all these different ideas that I had, it kind of varies depending on what your business is, on what might be the best option for you to really get some clients coming in. And you also need to look at things like, what are you really offering? Does your offering and like the pricing structure really support what you need from your business financially? All that stuff. So that being said, I would love to talk to you about your individual business and how you can get your first or next client using methods you already have access to right now that don't necessarily cost money, because it is possible. And so I would love to talk to you, and the link to book that call is in the description of the video, and it's also bit.ly/first-client-game plan. So it's a first client game plan call. The link is in the description, and you and I will just get on the phone for free for 30 minutes and talk about how you can get your first or next client, like, especially if you feel like I need one, like, this month, like I need a client in June, like that kind of a thing, then let's talk about it, because there's ways you can do it, and those other methods are great, but there's some time involved in getting them up and running, especially if you don't have a lot of money to spend on it. So, yeah, that is all I wanted to share. Again, this was Unicorn TV, and it was about how I got my first client, and we're going to be bringing in the energy of trying something new and curiosity as we go forth and get clients. And if you want to talk for free for 30 minutes about how you can get your first client or next client using methods you already have access to, I would love to help you with that, because like I said, I'm on a mission to build up an army of women that are doing work that they love, and it's changing the world through that simple act alone. And so this is my way of doing that and helping you guys out. So again, that link is bit.ly/first sorry bit.ly/first-client-game plan. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Leave your comment if you're watching the replay. I still, if you have questions, I will answer them in the comments. All right, and thank you, Katie. I see I look stunning. I'm trying something out where I get fully ready for these lives, and I am loving it. So I think that'll stay. All right, bye, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.